Hey everyone, Token Dave over here. Dorky token black guy who's just trying to get by. If it bleeds, we could kill it. And that's what Hollywood has been doing to the Predator movie franchise for the past 20 or 30 years, depending on how you feel about Predator 2. Thankfully, Prey, the latest entry and prequel to the Predator movies, has broken that shit streak. Or has it? Well, before I go into all of that, let me just briefly run over the plot. So, Naru is a member of the Comanche Native American tribe who is an exceptional healer and tracker. However, she is underestimated in her hunting abilities. And to prove everyone wrong, she decides to take part in her tribe's rite of passage hunt, unaware that her and her tribe are actually being hunted by an extraterrestrial alien predator. So, here's the thing. I'm a big fan of the Predator franchise. And I'm stressing Predator franchise, not the Predator movies. Because a lot of people are saying that they're fans of the Predator, yet they don't even mention the race of the alien's name, which I'll get into. So, as a fan of the whole franchise and not just the movies, I'm giving you my thoughts on Prey based on how good the movie is and how well it follows, the lore. So, I'm just going to be honest. This movie is awesome. All right? We have a great lead in Amber Midthunder as Naru. She is a competent lead, and it's easy to get behind her. And that's one of the problems that I'm having nowadays when people find out a female lead that is going to be a female action lead. They're going to be like, oh, she's a Mary Sue. She can do everything very well. Well, most leads in movies actually have a skill that makes them do things very well. So, just get that out of your Let's just get that out of your ass for a second, all right? But she is not perfect. Far from it. You see her make mistakes here and there. And, she learns from those mistakes. And, you get to see her progress. And it's not that she's all alone. She doesn't have any support in her endeavors. She is actually greatly supported by her brother, Tabe, played by Dakota Beavers, who really is being overshadowed. I mean, granted, this movie is, Amber Midthunders and all. She's the lead and everything, but Dakota Beavers did an awesome supporting job. And so we got that going on. And another thing that's so good is the cinematography. And the shooting is so beautiful. And the pacing, the pacing is good. It's slow in the beginning because it's establishing things, but, right when you get to the hunting parts, oh man, this movie picks up. And it definitely picks up. This is the most horror-based of the Predator movies. Even more horror-based than the original. There's the atmosphere of how, this Predator stalks. It's very eerie and, it's another callback to basics. So, there's a lot good going for it. Pacing, characters, story, everything hits on all cylinders. So, what's the problem? The problem that I have with this movie is the disrespect of the lore. A lot of people are saying that they're fans of the Predator, but they don't call the Predator by its name, or let alone the species names. If you see them talk about aliens, they'll talk about the alien calling it a xenomorph. But you don't really hear people call the Predator the Yaujta, which is the name of the alien's race. So, and this is one big problem that I have. It's this is retconning a lot of the lore. And so, not to give too much away, but, first and foremost, this particular Yaujta looks drastically different. In fact, it looks like a cross, more like an Amendi than, the actual Alpha Yaujta that we're used to. You see, Um, Yaujta Prime, the Predator's home planet, it got taken over by a race called the Amendi, which looks a lot like a giant lizard, lanky lizard type of creature, which is a callback to the original movie design of the Predator, who was actually supposed to be played by Jean-Claude Van Damme, but the way the actual monster looked, and Van Damme himself bowing out, called the Arnold Schwarzenegger to talk to Stan Winston to redesign the creature. Hence, we get the Yaujta. This Yaujta looks more like an Amendi. And the thing is, it took hundreds of years for the Yaujta to evolve to look the way it does in Predator and Predator 2. Well, at least the Hunter Predator. And so there's that. And then there are the weapons. Now, I know that the weapons are trying to look more primitive given the time period, but I'm sorry, these weapons could be more advanced because the Yaujta have been hunting on Earth for thousands of years, which is one retcon this movie is trying to make it. They're trying to make it, this is the first time the Yaujta have actually come to Earth. And in the 1719, no, they've been coming to us much longer. They've even stated that in the comics. Hell, when they found us as prey, what did they start doing? They thought that we were a little too easy until the events of the 1987 movie. There's that. And the biggest one is the pistol from Raphael Andonini, which we see at the end of Predator 2, which we see in this movie, which does not make sense. So there are a lot of lore reasons that really hold it back for me. So all in all, if you're not the fan of the lore in its entirety, you'll find this movie slamming. But for someone like me that has followed the lore in the comics from the original Predator comics, which are now known as Concrete Jungle, to Big Game, Race War, Cold War, and 1718, you're going to think it's cool. Agree? Disagree? Please drop me a comment below, give me a like, follow me on Facebook at Token Dave, or Twitter, Instagram at Token Dave 80. And if you want to see my ranking of the Predator movies, as well as who are my favorite Yaujta, follow me on Facebook and Instagram, and then you'll see it. Anyway, this has been Token Dave, Dorky Token Black Guy, who's just trying to get by. Catch all of y'all later.